Welcome to the Double R Show, the podcast that features everything about North Lincoln County. The Double R Show, directed and produced by Paul Robertson and hosted by the voice of Lincoln City, Roger Robertson.
Well, happy spring break.
It is, indeed. It is happening out there.
And this is Double R along with son Paul. And today we're going to be talking about schools. We're going to be talking about the county. And let's see, an upcoming event down in Newport. And what's going on with Samaritan North Lincoln Hospital. All of that and more right after this.
Northwest Septic Service is your one-stop shop for all your septic needs.
Northwest Septic Service offers pumping, maintenance, repair, and inspections with one call, 541-994-6977.
Buying or selling a home? Northwest Septic Service can inspect your sewer line or an entire septic system.
Old or failing septic system? Northwest Septic Service can rejuvenate most drain fields, saving you thousands of dollars. 541-994-6977.
Serving Lincoln, Tillamook, and Yamhill counties, Northwest Septic Service. Dr. Miley Tolan joins us next here on the Double R Show, and you are in the process of explaining to the patrons of the district what is needed for the Lincoln County School District. Am I right?
You are, Roger. If you remember last time I was here, we were talking about how the board had embarked on a year-long study to see what was really needed for our schools to take us into the next 20, 30, 40, 50 years. And that study completed in February, and the board said, yep, we need to go out for a renewal bond. Our bond is set to expire, and so they made the commitment that we're going to go out and try to get about $73 million in repairs that were identified in a renewal bond.
$73 million. Can you explain what is in that package?
I can. Actually, the long-term facility study was done by Brick Architecture. We went with an external firm to help us make those decisions, and they identified $93 million in needs. But one of the board's key factors was making sure that we were able to do what we need to do for our facilities to keep them healthy, to keep them in a safe space for our students to learn without having a tax increase. And so to do that, we worked with a committee, multiple staff feedback surveys of what do people really think that we need to have. And we were able to narrow down the $93 million to $73 million that we would go out for a bond.
Now, is this going to be new buildings, retrofit? What are we talking about?
Good question. For the most part, we're looking at updating and upgrading, making sure that our facilities are set for progress, with things that we need to do. A little bit of expansion. We do have an expansion of some auditoriums up in Lincoln City. Taft, since the build of that new high school years ago, it has 2 theater spaces in it. The cafeteria turns into a high-quality theater, and then it has the small community room that people are able to use. It seats about 100. Our other schools do not have that in the county, and so this bond does include auditorium spaces for community use, much like the ones that we have up in Lincoln City.
How important is that?
I think that it's really important that we always look at giving the students the best quality of space that they have for learning. And so we look at our athletic fields in Lincoln City and across the county. Over spring break, there are teams from across the state, actually up from Washington as well, that are here playing because during the last bond, we said that turf fields so we can have continual outside play was important. And then we look at the arts, and our band concerts, our choir concerts are often held in gymnasiums. And so they don't have the same space currently for high quality performance, and our kids perform at a high quality level. Our teachers are teaching high quality and our students are learning high quality. And so having that space where they can bring in different concerts, much like we're able to do in Lincoln City with Sluts Bay Music Festival, able to use the space, we want to be able to provide that same learning opportunity across the county.
And are there other needs that will be addressed, building issues, roofs, plumbing, electrical?
11 of them.
11 of them.
11 of them. So, there are definitely things like that. We could spend years exterior painting and interior painting to keep our buildings up to where they need to be. Same with roof repair. We look at roof repair. We look at alarm system repair. We want to make sure that our buildings are equipped with top-notch alarm systems. One that we're looking at putting in is, we call it the blue button, but it's actually an alarm system. Instead of being linked directly to the fire department, it's linked directly to police departments. And we have that system we got through a grant down at Sam Case Elementary, where if any student, any staff member pulls on an alarm, just like you would train to learn how to pull a fire alarm, it would notify law enforcement and put the building in a lockdown. So we want to make sure that we have that kind of safety feature across our district. So that's definitely something that we're looking at. Another area we looked at, and I think we learned a lot during COVID, is the importance of outside play, the importance of fresh air, of getting kids out at recess whenever they can.
All ages.
It's true, all ages. And some of our schools at the elementary and middle level have an outside area that they could go and get fresh air during the day that's covered, but many of our schools do not. So we're looking at covered play areas, making sure all of our schools have that at the elementary level, as well as turf field for play on playgrounds. You look at Taft Elementary, if you drive by Ocean Lake Elementary in the north, you will see that it's not raining, but it has rained so hard that it's covered in mud and our children can't go outside for fresh air. But if you drive by Sam Case or Uquina View Elementary, those ones have turf fields paid for in various ways that they're able to almost always have an outside recess. And we want all of our kids to have outside play.
As Miley's told, as doctor and superintendent of the Lincoln County School District, you look at what is going to be proposed. Is there one thing that really rings a bell for Dr. Tolan?
Oh, I don't know. I want it all. I want our kids to have the best. They deserve the best. Our teachers deserve the best. Our community deserves to drive by schools they're incredibly proud of. And I think that we have done a fabulous job, really, in Lincoln County. I mean, we're on the coast. We're getting hammered with rain and wind and everything all the time, and our facilities department is amazing at keeping them up, keeping them safe, keeping them remodeled when we need to. Anything we ask for, they do for us, but they can't do it all, and we can't wait forever. And when we have an opportunity to do what we need to do to have safe and healthy schools that are giving our students top-notch facilities for learning without increasing taxes, I think the board looked at that and said this was a time that they needed to make that.
And again, without increasing taxes, how does that come about?
So they looked at multiple proposals on how much you could bond for. And the board really said from the very beginning that they wanted to maintain as best as possible the existing tax rate. And so that looks like 65 cents for 1,000 assessed value.
And that's what the patrons have been paying.
That's the current rate. Yeah. Okay. So that was when the board looked at, all of their factors. That was a major factor in their decision is what can we do for our facilities that will not increase taxes for our tax base.
And last but not least, it'll be on the ballot when?
May 20th. So May 20th will be Election Day, and we'll be given all the information anybody could possibly want until May 20th.
If you've got a question, talk to Dr. Miley Tolan. And you are available to make presentations.
Yes, yeah. We have a little roadshow of information only going out. So if you would like to have us come and talk to a neighborhood organization that you're in, a club that you're in, anything across the county, we would love to just come and share information. And really, more importantly, we want to answer questions. We want people to feel comfortable asking us questions, and we want to be able to make sure that we're doing our part as the district to have the answers for them. So if we don't have it at the moment, then we'll make sure that we get that answer to people.
And if you wonder how Roger Robertson and the podcast stands, look at my front yard.
Saturday, April 12th, Chinook Winds presents a special one-night-only tribute to the one and only Bob Seger. It's Forever Seger, with authentic vocals and commanding performances, and the unmistakable Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band sound. Tickets start at just $20. Reserved by phone at 888-MAIN-ACT, online at ChinookWindsCasino.com, or at the Chinook Winds box office. This is a 16 and older event. Forever Seger, Saturday, April 12th at Chinook Winds Casino Resort, where concerts are better at the beach.
Dr. Leslie Ogden, Samaritan North Lincoln Hospital, Pacific Communities Hospital, joins us now. And dollars and cents in medical facilities is gotten to be a hot topic.
It is. It is a hot topic across the United States, I think, but particularly for rural hospitals and things like critical access hospitals, which is what, our hospital is, just there for really serving the community in those critical ways that we need. And then all of a sudden, sort of finances are tossed on their ear.
And when we're talking about that, it reflects back on Medicaid, Medicare. What are the financial implications here?
Yes, all of the above.
All of the above.
That's exactly right. We tend in rural areas to have a higher governmental payer mix, meaning people who rely on the government for their insurance, whether that be Medicare for typically those age 65 and older, or Medicaid for those who either have disabilities or are low income. So in our situation, we have over 50% of the people who seek care with us are on Medicare, and over 25% are on Medicaid. So that makes us a vast majority government pay sort of system. And what we've seen happen in Oregon, which is something to be celebrated, but it's also something to be contemplated, is we've seen more people join the Medicaid rolls, especially the past few years. We've gotten it up to about a third of our population is actually on Medicaid across the state. So we have more people that we're taking care of that, frankly, are our weakest payers, if you want to say it that way. And then, of course, we haven't seen any reimbursement increases for the work we do for years and years, pretty much across the board with government payers.
Every time I see a bill from a hospital, I look at it and I see, well, my insurance paid X, my Medicare paid X. I could never have paid that by myself.
Absolutely. And we are blessed, especially in the state of Oregon, to have such a majority of our, folks on some sort of insurance, right? Whatever it may be across the board. We're a vast majority. We're like 96, 97% insured. And you'd think that would have solved the problem, for really making those finances work. But when you throw in the inflation of everything that we've seen go up in prices, boy, that's affected healthcare dramatically as well. When you throw in all the labor costs that have increased, because, we've got to increase what we pay people if things cost more.
Sure.
And we've got to be fair, and we've got to be attractive. That's another thing. We've got to be really attractive.
That's
in
an
rural
interesting
areas.
comment. Got to be attractive. What do you mean by that?
Meaning that our salaries have to be competitive
To get the personnel.
people here exactly for these jobs. So we continue to look at the market like crazy. So we're, upping our rates if that's what it takes to get people. So again, we're not going to make people rich coming out here and working, but it is going to be a very fair wage, and it's going to be competitive in the market. So with all of these things, as well as some pressures that have come from the regulatory side of things, like mandated staffing and some mandated actually financial qualifications that we have to put people under, all of these things are legislation that has been passed and become part of our regulatory milieu. When we throw that all together, all of a sudden the money we make does not cover all of our expenses anymore. And what we're seeing is this happening with hospitals across Oregon in particular, but then across the United States as well. And so, you'll see things like, of course, you see cost increases for, the services that, we're trying to pass that on. But that doesn't always fly in the hospital industry because people pay what they pay. The government payers don't pay the higher rates that we might increase. They pay what they have already set, and that may have been years and years and years ago.
So where does the hospital make up for everything that you don't get reimbursed for?
Well, we're very lucky with a critical access hospital that for Medicare patients that we serve, so it's only that part of our payer mix, but for those folks, we can go back and fill out what's called a Medicare cost report. And that enables us to get reimbursed up to the cost of what it took to care for those patients. But you can tell already by our conversation, that's only 50% of what we're doing. And so the remainder, we just don't get paid for. And so it's a funny, funny business. And the math worked for a long time. And now the math is starting to not work anymore.
That makes for a tough scenario.
It really does. It really does. Because we've been challenged, of course, to come up with, okay, how are you going to do this? How are you going to continue to serve communities? And so we regrettably have gone through 2 rounds of layoffs. I think we've managed them very well, but it doesn't matter if you're one of those people who's affected. It still, affects your job. So we've sort of pared everything down as much as we can, but still delivering the services we're delivering. We've also done some really imaginative and strategic sorts of things to try to cost cut wherever we can in the background. And so we're still working on that. We actually had a really good January, and we thought maybe things are turning around, but February was not a great month for us. So we'll see what March holds, and we'll continue to work on things.
Dr. Leslie Ogden, Samaritan North Lincoln Hospital, Pacific Communities Hospital. Back in a moment.
Wouldn't it be great to have all your insurance needs handled by one agency? This is Charlotte Lado with Farmers Insurance and the Insurance Store. Visit our office next to the Wildflower Grill in Lincoln City. Let us be your one stop for your personal, commercial, health, and Medicare insurance needs.
We at La Roca are proud of our food, but don't take our word for it. Read the reviews. One person wrote, "The service was friendly and efficient." Another writes, "La Roca has become one of our favorites because it's authentic Mexican food."
Our special guest is Claire Hall, and Claire I've known for a number of years as a co-worker with the radio stations Econ Bay Communications, but now Claire is the county commissioner, one of 3 county commissioners in Lincoln County. Welcome aboard.
Guilty as charged, and thank you, Roger. Always a pleasure to be here.
Been a number of years you've sat in the county commissioner chair.
Well, believe it or not, this is year number 21.
Wow.
Yeah.
Don Lindley probably surpassed you?
21 and a half. So I'm within striking distance there. And, I never pursued longevity on its own as a goal, but it feels good. I've been able to get some things done because I've been able to stick around as long as I have.
What's the motivation for that, Claire?
I love this county, and the longer I'm here, I love it more. I love the people. And in this job, for me personally, I see I'm able to help so many different people in so many different ways. Don't do it on my own. I work with a cast of hundreds, if not thousands, but, making a difference for the better in somebody's life. It's that simple and yet that profound.
You've got a new budget process starting now, right?
Right.
As you look into that new budget for next year, what do you see? What's the goal of Claire Hall in that budget process?
Well, I hate to say it, but it's cloudier than it usually is at this time of year. I mean, I think we've got an idea that we're sound on local revenue, and I think the state's going to be okay, but we've got some federally dependent programs, and that's just one giant question mark right now. For instance, the county road system, 300-some miles of roads, 22 bridges, and its local gas tax, and then federal money they've been sending us ever since the spotted owl crisis. And, if that goes away, I don't know what that does to roads. Medicaid, there's a lot of talk, nothing definitive at this point about whether Medicaid gets cut or not. And our 3 community health centers, one here in Lincoln City, just moved from DMV to the heart of town, the old Adventist location. Plus we're in Newport, and then just a couple of years ago, we're able to get into Waldport as well, which I love, the whole county represented. But anyway, when the Medicaid expansion happened, we were able to significantly staff up our capacity because those folks had coverage now, or access to coverage. And depending on how big a haircut or amputation Medicaid takes, I would hate it if we're no longer able to serve people that we have been serving with basic medical care.
I assume you're probably attempting to get the ear of state, or not state, but federal representatives and senators.
Oh, yeah, very much so. And gosh, I'm thinking maybe about a month ago in Newport at the community college, Jeff Merkley and Val Hoyle were both there. I had asked our department heads, elected officials, to come up with a spreadsheet, which they did, and I was able to give it to both of them in sort of a pre-meeting beforehand. Just, again, things we don't necessarily know whether they're going to be here next year or not, but if they weren't, it would be troubling. I mean, look at our DA's office. I think we have a well-known, well-respected victims assistance program and also child support and enforcement. That's paid for with a $250,000 annual federal grant. Hate to see that service go away or have to be trimmed. But I've been telling people we can't spend money we don't have. That's going to be a bottom line.
Makes it a little difficult to
Yes.
budget, does it not?
Yeah, I mean, as we all know, the feds can spend and borrow, but we can't. And that, in the long, long run, that's really a good thing.
As you look into that next year, does Clare Hall have a item out there that you're going to hang your hat on, so to speak?
That's a good question, Roger. I don't know if I see anything new on the horizon, at least not yet. Just kind of more of the same, try to get more housing built. I mean, I was so thrilled that we've been able to get, like right here in Lincoln City, 2 significant affordable projects, for disabled folks, retirees on fixed income, veterans, folks who are working but, can't afford higher end places. Anecdotally, I'm hearing from business owners and others, it's making a difference. And when I talk in the community, instead of hearing, it is absolutely, categorically impossible to find a rental in Lincoln County, now I hear, usually that's the case, but every now and then somebody's finding a place. So, it's kind of like chipping away at an iceberg, is the way it feels like sometimes.
You mentioned one of my favorite words because I am a veteran.
Yes.
Veteran
my
policies.
gosh.
What's happening there?
Oh, okay. I got to focus myself here a little bit because, folks, as one of your elected officials, I try to be calm and focused, dignified, but I'm mad as hell about what they're trying to do to veterans. And I never served, but I've got a military heritage on both sides of my family. And so far, Keith Barnes, our Veterans Service Officer, said a few years ago before VA started staffing up, he has to get on the phone, talk to somebody at the VA. Wait time was down to 7 minutes. Guess what's starting to climb like a rocket? Short-term rental assistance program for veterans that has kept veterans from ending up on the street. That's cut. We all heard about the veterans suicide line and the possible threats to that. So now the latest administration edict is that those folks and others in the VA can't telecommute anymore. They have to go back to the office and work from the office, which might be fine, except now they're discovering they don't have enough workstations for all these people to be in the office. So, frankly, my head spins a lot of the time trying to take all this in. Even though mostly stuff like that, it's out of my direct control, but I know people in the community kind of have come to trust me, expect that I'm going to be up on things that are happening, and I'm doing my best, but strange days indeed, as the song goes.
Kids and veterans are a couple of items that really, really tug at my heart.
Oh, yeah.
Appreciably. And you did mention the name of one guy that I want to give a shout out to, Keith Barnes.
Absolutely. We have been so lucky. We've had good people in that job before Keith, but Keith is absolutely exceptional. And I don't know if people listening, if they haven't been in the military or aren't part of a military family, may not know essentially why Keith is so important.
Ask a vet.
Yeah. Now, exactly. Now, in a perfect world, for a vet to be, or their dependent, to be able to access services. Got to be able to, like, go online, fill out a few lines on a form, and get the process rolling. This is such a complex process. For good or ill, that's the way it is right now. A veteran service officer has to go through a full week of training. So without Keith or people like him there, our local vets and their families are just blocked from service.
Our guest has been County Commissioner Claire Hall. We appreciate you coming up and want you back again and again.
Anytime you call, I'll be here.
Home-style cooking in a hometown atmosphere. Hi, I'm Adina from Zeller's Restaurant in Rose Lodge in Lincoln City. Join us daily for good fun and great food. You can even kick up your heels at Zeller's.
If you're looking for great early garden fresh produce, it's Kenny's IGA in the Bay Area of Lincoln City. 4 generations of Morgans caring for your every grocery need. All of your favorite beverages, a full deli, meat, produce, and of course, groceries. One of my favorite activities and organizations is Habitat for Humanity. Habitat for Humanity of Lincoln County is sponsoring their 3rd annual Home and Garden Show. And here to talk about that, Lucinda Taylor, welcome.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
This is a wonderful fundraising event for Habitat for Humanity, is it not?
It is. It is our major fundraiser of the year. We have a fun time putting it on, and I know the folks who come and attend, the vendors, the sponsors, and the folks who come and visit all of those folks have a great time.
Last 2 years been at Chinook Winds up at the casino. This year it's going to be in Newport.
Yes, we decided we need to bounce around across the county since we serve the full county. So we'll be at the Rec Center in Newport on April 26th.
As you look around of all of the booths already that have signed up, you also have some major sponsors that we need to give some accolades to.
Thank you. Yes, absolutely. Our presenting sponsor is O'Brien and Company. Love the work that they're doing in our community.
I think a lot of people have never heard of O'Brien and Company, and they spoke at Chamber about all of the activities they are involved in Lincoln County.
They've done a number of projects already and are currently involved. They're building the OSU housing down in Newport. They're doing a lot of things. They're very involved in the area, and one of their employees actually serves on our board of directors. We're thrilled to have Ryan Martinson as part of our team.
Very good. So the other sponsors you have are who?
So RD Construction Services, Northwest Natural, everybody knows and loves Northwest Natural, Pelican Garage Doors, and Most Wanted Painters, all gold level sponsors. We have some silver level sponsors with Thompson Sanitary, Charlotte Lado Farmers Insurance, the Otter Radio, Coastal Marketing Solutions, and Newport Chamber of Commerce. And then a bronze sponsor is Astor Flora.
Now, as people come to the Home and Garden Show down in Newport at the Rec Center, what will they experience? Who else is going to be there?
We take a very broad view of home because almost everything centers around home. But we're going to have your typical folks that you might imagine, folks like Builders First Source. So for your construction needs, they have all things necessary. We'll have some artists there, some painters. Most Wanted Painters, I believe, is signed up. We have R&B Contracting.
Right, they just finished working my house.
Oh, excellent. Yes, they do wonderful work. We've worked with them on some of our home repair projects. They give Habitat a little special deal to when they do work with us. So we would certainly appreciate their support in the community. So, really, it's anything to do with home, you might see it there.
So we got raffles, silent auction, free admission, Newport Rec Center, Saturday, April 26, 10 to 3. Those are the highlights. What's the underlying story for this event? It does what for Habitat for Humanity?
So this event helps us raise funds to support our organization so that we can do what we do in our community, and that is affordable housing. We support affordable housing in 2 different ways. One, we develop homes, we build them, we raise the money, we build the homes, and then we sell them to income-qualified households through an affordable mortgage. The other thing we do is we do home repairs for folks who already own their homes. Low-income homeowners are able to get home repairs and help maintain their home so that they can stay in it and live in it, age in place, be in a healthy environment. Maybe what we're doing is helping with accessibility needs. Maybe we're helping preserve the home. Maybe the hot water heater went out. We can help with these things. It's not an instant fix. It takes time because it's a process, but we can help with those fixes.
We also provide access to matched savings accounts for down payment assistance and home repairs. So that's through the individual development account, funded ultimately by the state. So our goal is to help increase the affordable housing inventory here in Lincoln County and help preserve the existing affordable housing inventory.
Zantello Law Group has moved. I'm Josh Zantello, and our law firm is now located across from the Lincoln City Community Center on Northeast 21st. Our law firm of knowledgeable professionals stand ready to assist you in life's matters.
You'll find a book for every occasion at Bob's Beach Books. Something to read as you relax by an open fire? We have it. Studying a particular topic? We have that too. Traveling to a far-off land? Discover it first by reading. Bob's Beach Books in the Ocean Lake area of Lincoln City? Come discover.
Well, our special thanks to a number of special guests today, Dr. Leslie Ogden, Claire Hall, Miley Stolen, and Lucinda Taylor, all coming by with a different slant on a different topic, Paul.
Yeah, a lot of things covered this episode as we march into the second weekend of Oregon spring break. And, of course, Washington and Idaho and California, they're all coming up here soon, too.
Now, you've been down whale watching.
Yeah, I went down to the beach or down to the wall there last week, and the same day that the orcas were seen in the bay. We ourselves didn't see them, but my mother-in-law and I went down for coffee and heard about all the good news, whales out there, and then a classmate of mine, Craig Calkins, runs a boat down there. He actually posted a photo of some of the orcas that he saw when he was out there on the sport fisher.
And we remind all of our visitors that are here for spring break, enjoy your stay, but don't turn your back on the ocean.
Yeah, the ocean is always a dangerous place, and particularly when the sun's out, you got to really be mindful.
And as you're here enjoying your spring break now, remember to come back in April 18, 19, 20. It's the Great Oregon Coast Garage Sale happening. And for more information about that, go to the Lincoln City Chamber of Commerce. And it's my understanding the Newport Chamber of Commerce has joined in on this year as well. So it is a county-wide garage sale.
Magnifying
Huge,
it. That's
huge.
great. Yeah. And that's going to be the same kickoff of Mudflat Golf, right? 18th of April.
Absolutely. Which you'll play in.
Yeah, you too, hopefully, right?
Which I'll be there.
Get your 9-iron out.
Yeah, get my 9-iron out and the shotgun. Easter egg hunt, sponsored by the Lincoln City Kiwanis Club, is forthcoming. It's going to be down in the Bay Area in that beautiful, beautiful new park that the city has. Used to be a school, Taft Elementary.
Yeah. We had my lease on today and thinking about the reuse of different properties. But that school long time served its purpose, and I look forward to this bond renewal in May.
And that is a ballot measure that people will have an opportunity to find out more information about that. Dr. Tolan has been out and about around the county, along with Liz Martin from the Lincoln County School District Board of Directors, willing to come to your organization and talk about what is all involved with this ballot measure. Nature Conservancy seeking volunteer naturalists at the Cascade Head Preserve. I bet you know about volunteering up and down the beach, do you not?
Yeah, well, we're got our own volunteer program outside of what the Nature Conservancy is doing, but they're always looking for docents and the like to help support their programming up there on the headland and to protect that space. Speaking of Cascade Head Biosphere Collaborative, we actually have an event coming up here on April 3rd, too, at the Pelican, and it's a warming planet is the title. And
Warming Planet.
A warming planet.
Okay.
And we've got Oregon's lead meteorologist or climatologist coming in. So come down to the Pelican on April 3rd from 6 o'clock and register at cascadehead.org for that event.
And finally, I'd like to reemphasize Habitat for Humanity's third annual Home and Garden Show. One thing that we needed to reinforce again from Lucinda Taylor is that you still have an opportunity to buy a booth.
Right, yeah. Get a booth there and show your wares at the Home and Garden Show.
And it's quite an event, and it raises money for Habitat for Humanity. As Lucinda told us, it is their major fundraising event for the year. Anything else your side of the table?
That's going to do it for here. Thanks.
That'll do it to the Dunes and a Double R Show. Remember to like and share so your friends and neighbors around the world and across the street can join us right here in the Double R Show. For Paul, Jenna, I'm Double R. Have a happy day.
You've been listening to The Double R Show. Join Roger and Paul Robertson as they explore everything about North Lincoln County. The Double R Show, produced by Always Productions and hosted by Roger Robertson. Have a story? Email contact@alwaysproductions.com or call 458-201-3039. For The Double R Show, I'm Jana Grawn.